Hi, once again, it's Jan of the Jan Files. I posted about being enraged yesterday. I'm no better today. I hope you're not either. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's not going to take us being calm. It's not going to take us waiting until the midterms to do something. I need you all to get up off your ass and do something. Now, let me preface that, please, because I know there are certain people with certain circumstances who can't, okay? Who, for whatever reason, can't make phone calls, can't put a sign on their lawn, yes, believe it or not, can't, try to find any way to resist the destruction of this country. Okay, I'm really done. And you know who I'm really done with? A lot of the time, it's white women who tell me that in my neighborhood, okay, that they can't put a sign up because they're afraid of their neighbors. Really? That's what the fuck you're afraid of? Your neighbors? Are you kidding? And one of my responses is always try being a black mother. Now, obviously, I'm not black, but my family is. I have 2 black daughters and I'm married to a black man. And let me suggest that my mindset is very different than yours when my family leaves the house. Okay? When I have to deal with, because I know what the world is like, have to deal with the fear of what can happen to them. So I'm going to keep telling you, I'm going to keep saying, do something. Today, I did this. Whoops, I don't know if it's upside. Well, it doesn't really fucking matter. Okay, this is a list of the yellow lines are the New York representatives who are Republican in New York. That's the state I live in. I called every one of them. And just an FYI, if they ask you, they have a answering service that says, if you're a constituent, press this number. If you're not, don't press I'm not a constituent, because they probably don't listen to those and they probably just toss them. So pretend you're a constituent, okay? And if you can, have a zip code ready. But if not, I just say I'm not willing to give you that. So going beyond that, it is going to take every ounce of energy we have to resist. And in keeping with that, I would like to provide people with some reminders of how this country was started and what people sacrificed in order to create this great nation. Especially consider how many people aren't willing to do shit to bring about change or are willing to let other people do it. Okay? Again, I will say this once again. I understand there are certain circumstances where you may not be able to. I get it. I'm not talking about you. Okay? I'm talking about those who say it doesn't matter. It does matter. If you call, it makes a difference. If you don't think that a congressional a representative who normally maybe gets 20 calls a day, maybe, right? Maybe 50, all of a sudden is getting 1,000, you think that doesn't matter. Well, I'm telling you, it does. And you can believe me, you don't have to, whatever. And protesting works. If you want to wait until we're in a place where people are going to have to do something more drastic, that is a big mistake. Because I'm telling you, as somebody who's completely nonviolent, we have tools. We have tools now to make a difference. Okay? So I'm going to just share some quotes with you, and maybe you can pass them on, because I'm sure a lot of you who are listening are the people that are calling, are the people that are doing something. And if that's you, you need to share it. You need to ask others to step up to the plate. So let me, Samuel Adams said, I'm going to try not to screw this up completely. The liberties of our country, the freedoms of our civil constitution are worth defending at all hazards. We have received them as a fair inheritance from our worthy ancestors. They purchased them for us with toil and danger and at the expense of treasure and blood. That's what it took, folks. And also, let's just remind ourselves of what Ruth Bader Ginsburg actually said. A constitution, as important as it is, will mean nothing unless people are yearning for liberty and freedom. Many are very content to live under this king. This king is far worse than King George because he's among us. King George was an ocean away, yet it took us 8 years to defeat him. And many times it looked like it wasn't going to happen, but they persevered. They gave their lives. Do you realize that some families some of the men who were fighting had their women and children in the same unit, that they followed them, that they cooked for them, that they buried them? I mean, do you understand what it took to found this nation? And I'm going to tell you, we have never been perfect. And I know I'm just, a lot of you know all this shit anyway. But we've never been perfect. We have had opportunities to end racism, especially right after the Civil War. We didn't. We, kowtowed to the South and the slave owners, even when we won. So this nation has never been perfect, but it has been a work in progress, as it's always called, an experiment. Well, folks, it's our turn now. Do you get that? It's our turn. And I'm going to tell you, Black people have always fought for this nation. They've always stood up when they could against all odds. And those of us who are safe because of the color of our skin, and because most of us act with our privilege without doing the work to become anti-racist. We work with our privilege. We often, even liberals, as Martin Luther King said in his letter from Birmingham, the people that he was most afraid of were moderates. So, folks, either you get this, you either get where we are at. We are in, we're in a revolution. I don't want it to be a violent one. It's not what I'm preaching ever, because we have many tools. And if you don't get off your ass and do something, we will succumb. We will succumb to Donald Trump and Putin and Netanyahu, who I believe are all in concert. Okay? This is not like him operating alone. That's not true. First of all, the vice president of Venezuela was in Russia when this all went down. And Putin knew. Our Congress didn't know, okay, that there was going to be an invasion of Venezuela. And we killed people. We killed, the numbers out there, it ranges, but we killed, 50, 60, 70, 80 people. That matters. Those are lives. And I'm constantly amazed at how many Americans are so easy for them to say, oh, well, they asked for it, especially what happened yesterday. Oh, she asked for it. She asked for it by aiming her truck at the ICE. No, she didn't ask for it. And it's very clear what happened. And it's not Donald Trump, and it's not Kristi Noem, as you want us to believe, that he was dragged, that the ICE officer was hit and ended up in the hospital. Those are blatant fucking lies. And if you're not as outraged as me, I don't know. I don't know if it's not just me. First of all, I know that it would be a stupid thing to say. And I know many people are outraged. But I'm telling you, your voice matters. If you're the one who's always quiet or doesn't talk politics at any point, change. Talk politics. Let people know how you feel. Stop being afraid. If that's what makes you afraid of somebody saying something to you, you've got no clue. That's all I can say. You've got no clue. And nothing should be more important if you care about this nation and your families and your children than fighting right now. Again, I'm going to say non-violently. So what are you going to do, folks? What are you going to do? And I will give you a little hint. When you make these kind of calls, it feels good. It feels good because I don't hold back, as you can imagine. It feels good to me to let them know. And I know it makes a difference. It's why do you think people are dropping out? The Republicans. Let's put more pressure on them. Let's put more pressure on some people in the House who are up for election. Let's do it. Are you with me? And listen, I have a YouTube channel. So I am posting these things there, but I am going to be doing more. And I would really appreciate if you would follow me on my YouTube channel. The other thing, wherever, I'm not sure where you're going to be seeing this, I will post the link to all the numbers for the people in the House of Representatives. Let's go. There is not a moment to lose. Thank you.